So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Fariborz Birjandian.
Good morning. So good morning, and I want to start by thanking the Multicultural Center, especially in Nush and University of Calgary, for putting this forum together, to bring us together to talk about the importance of integrating basically newcomers into labor market, but really in the context of settlement. And I think that's what I will be talking about a little bit more. It's getting also more difficult to come and talk to a group of practitioners and experts such as yourself, because you know a lot. I mean, we have learned so much in the past 20 years, 25 years. It was time that we had to really go and find the research, but now through the Prophets Conference and some of the things that we heard Dr. Kazimierz talked about today, there's so much knowledge, information out there that we have. I'm challenged actually coming here and trying to say something that will be beneficial to you. So I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to try to achieve today, raise some questions. Questions of myself, questions of you as an individual, and also some questions hopefully your organization that you work with, and collectively maybe there would be some discussion in the community as how we're going to do that. You heard the message from the Deputy Shirley Howe and the Mayor and also Dr. Fariborz. Things are not that bad to start with. I mean, the document that the Deputy was actually referring to, I suggest that you get a copy of that, actually shows that things in Alberta was quite good. The biggest problem we have is two problems. One is underemployment. The other one, really the time it takes people to get into the labor market. Those are the two issues. But if you look at the number of labor force participation of immigrants, it's quite impressive actually in Alberta. So we have to give some credit to yourself and to the community and also people in Alberta that they have been able to really look at the institutional changes that they have to make and the credibility of this basically service provider in Alberta that we can achieve that. So that is the good stuff. Now, trying to spend that next 20 minutes, I'm going to talk a little bit about everything. As I said, I hope I raise some questions here, because those are the questions you should be asking ourselves within our organization, collectively as a real organization, to make sure that we are up to the challenges ahead of us. So, we have to do this. It works. That's the good thing. But usually it doesn't work. So, these are the things I'm going to talk about. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but again, I hope that if you look at those and think about this. The first thing I wanted to talk about is the psychology of newcomers. We talk about the newcomers' integration into the labor market, integration and stepping of the community, but there's not much time spent on understand who are these people, why they're here, what are their fears, what are their hopes. We do in some extent, but I think we have to get better than that and do a better job on that. I used to have this next poster I'm going to show you is the pie of life, and I tell you the psychology of the newcomers coming, and I hope you agree with me. And I'm going to talk a little bit about why jobs and communication are important. But you have to remember, when you look at the statistic, 85% of the people that come to Alberta, to Canada, to Calgary, as a skilled workers, they all leave a very lucrative, good job behind to come here. So coming here is not the prime factor. So I want to talk about that later on. And also talk about the stakeholders, and partners, and our role. Expectations. There are different expectations from different bodies. Government has different expectations. Community has different expectations. But we don't talk about the expectations that newcomers have. So we develop our policies, we design our program based on the policy expectations and the expectations of community, not paying too much attention to what the expectations are for the nation. And I hope that will be one question. And then talk about some of the desired practices and talk about what works and what doesn't work. Again, thing that doesn't work, we can make it work, but we have to ask critical questions, we have to talk about it, then hopefully make it work. Very quickly, I want to share this poster with you that I used to use it many years ago when we used to do workshops. I think every life can be described as a pie of life. We all have a different slice in our pie of life. And that is important hobbies we have, families that we care and spend time with, community connection we have, the religious community, local community, sport community, and also recreation activities we have. So this is basically a balanced life for any individual. Now, for myself, being a workaholic, obviously my pie of life is about 45% of my job takes 45% of my pie of life, but it still is not the entire my reason of being, going to work and doing work. Now, what happens to newcomers when they come? When they come in, when you look at those studies, they don't have, obviously, I start from the bottom. There's a recreation. They don't have recreation. They are new to this city. They don't know where they go. Some they do, but most of them they don't know. There's expenses that they have to look after. There are issues that are not comfortable with the whole environment of recreation. That is kind of thing that we have to learn in the community connection obviously is not there. If there is, despite the loose connections, and they have, is not that much. So you heard from the some of the studies. And families, obviously families are left behind, so we don't have families. And hobbies, obviously, if you don't have any of those, you're not going to go and pay attention and spend money on your hobbies. So what it really defines, when we make them to define, is the job. And that is what we need them with, the job. So when we look at the pie of life, what they have to worry about and are focusing on is the job. And the bad news is they don't have a job. So basically that leads to a lot of issues, such as physical and mental stress. If you look at all the studies last 10 years, immigrants come healthy and they become sick and stressed. Physical, now we're paying attention to the mental situation, the health of newcomers. Obviously, the mental issues, mental health becomes quite undesirable. Depression they get, and then they will basically lose interest. And you talk to a lot of them and say, look, why don't you go camping or go hiking? I say, come on, I don't have a job. And that's a common thing here. So they relate that very much to job being the only thing that they have to have, and they won't have it, so they really feel depressed, and unfortunately some of that translates to the family violence. And we all are dealing with those, and we know how important it is to make sure that they understand that. So this is really hard in newcomer come. Now, are we helping in society? I don't think we're helping that much, because basically, in North America, especially Canada, work is almost everything. If you don't have a job, you have a problem. And we are valuing only certain kind of job, and that is even worse than a problem. If I come here in newcomers and I have only option of driving taxi, I have to hide it from people because it's not something that we value. And I think that's the question I'm raising. We have to recognize the work, regardless of what it is, and give credit for people doing it. Again, talking from experience, I came here in '88. Obviously, the first job I got, I delivered pizza for a company called Pizza Bag. I didn't want people to be sorry for me. I was a grown-up, I decided to do that, and that was fantastic. And I think the result, I became a much better professional because I went to that level and I did the work. But hopefully, was not doing it for another 23 years. But we have to recognize the job and connection, and it is not easy to come to Calgary and go to those big companies and get a job. That's the wish list, but it's not easy. So people have to do other things. So let's value the other things. So let's not talk about the drivers that was a doctor. There's nothing wrong with driving taxi. There's nothing wrong with working. And I think that is how you build your social capital. And again, all the studies, which Dr. Abdi agrees with me, that people that they are able to build their social capital, they are much more successful in the settlement, in integration, and also in the whole contribution, and also creating a sense of belonging for Canada or the local community that they live. So these are questions. I hope that you formulate some questions in yourself about what we're talking about. Now, what are employers are looking for? We're not asking for employers to do charity work. We know that we are employed ourselves. Some of us, we have hundreds of staff. So we don't want somebody there that cannot produce. It won't work. So this is what employers are looking for. They are looking at job at the applicants. They are looking for employability skills. They are looking for cultural awareness. They are looking for added value to the organization. And also they are looking for organizational loyalty and positive attitude. If create an environment that people come in because they are being basically recruited, selected as an immigrant based on the potential, based on their human capital. So they have a lot of that already built into them. We don't have to do really too much work. We have to fine-tune it with them. So we have to make sure if we want people to enter the labor market, they have to have this. Now, we heard from EMO and other organizations, and I'm very glad to see that they're getting out of the box and creating a different approach to assist people in the short term to acquire the skills. And that's a good news. So I think that is what we expect the employers to do. The traditional of hiring graduate university, high school students that were born here, raised here, those days are gone. And if they had a choice, probably they would still go and hire them. But they don't have that choice anymore. That's a good news for immigrants. So they have to really look at changing their policy, changing their scope, and changing the way they recruit, the way they promote, the way they recruit, and the way they orient people in their business. So, who are the stakeholders here? Obviously, newcomers are the stakeholders. They're the most important stakeholders because they, whatever we do, whatever policy we make, impacts the lives of their workers. Service providers are the stakeholders, government, employers, and community. Let's not forget about the communities, because the immigration is government of Canada's responsibility. That's why people feel the absence of government of Canada when they land for the therapy. However, the integration and settlement, it is really a community concept. It's not a funding concept. It's not an organization concept. It happens within the community. Unless we prepare the community to receive the people, to engage them, to provide them an opportunity to build the social capital, we're not going to achieve the policies that the expected outcome of the policies that we're going to practice that we think about.